Hi, everyone. Welcome to our North Florida virtual open house. We are excited to have Janina with us today from GRC Learning Academy. And we also have Beth Hanning with us. She is going to be presenting in our Monday session for online programs. And I'm sorry, I forgot your name down below. Don't kill me. Tasha?
Naja, yes.
Taja, perfect. So, GRC Learning Academy is going to tell us a little bit about their program, and then we're going to talk a little bit about microschooling just in general and what parents can do to try out a microschool if they've never heard of something like that before. All right, Janina, it's up to you. Go for it.
Hi, thank you for having us. And so we are a Christ-centered K-8 school. And how I like to explain it to parents is that we are the best parts of traditional school and the best parts of homeschool together. And so, and what that is again, we're not homeschool because you do send your kids here, so they won't be at home. But also the parts about homeschool that we love is that it's the flexibility of it. So we have a 4-day academic week, and so we provide academics from Monday through Thursday. Friday is an optional day. We decided to have an optional day of the week. And really because we believe that parents should be part of the educational process. They, these are your children's first teachers, and you should not put that down just because society says you got to send them to school. And we want to be partners in that. And so we believe that being able to allow parents to, yes, send them because as much as many of us want to homeschool our children, the reality is that we often can't because we have to go to work. Like if we don't work, we don't eat. And but we still want to give parents the options to be able to participate in their kids' learning. And so that's kind of what we decided to do. That one-on-one, like individualized learning so that a kid doesn't have to fit school, school should fit the kid. And being able to meet them where they're at, being able to let them learn at the pace that they need to learn at. And the way that you do that is to intentionally keep yourself small. And so that I know every one of my kids, they know who we are. They feel like they matter, that this is a place where they belong, that they matter, that they are seen, that they are heard, and that they are exactly what God created them to be, which is amazing. And that's what we want to make sure that every one of our kids realizes. And unfortunately, I've been in education a really long time. It doesn't happen in traditional school. It doesn't happen. So that's kind of what we're trying to do here.
I love it. I love that you're located in Tallahassee as well. Can you tell me a little bit about your location and anything about that?
So we are, yes, so we're in Tallahassee. We're kind of on the northwest side of Tallahassee, and we are grateful that we have partnered with our church, and so we're using our church facilities during the week because again, there are services at night and there's services on the weekend. But other than that, the church is empty. And so why not fill that with kid voices?
Yeah, I love that.
And so we have been kind of transforming our church into this amazing little place for kids to grow and learn in all aspects. Like it's not just about the academics, it's like what you're doing socially. Again, we're Christ centered, so it's like how do we raise you as a spiritual being because that's who you are, and putting that all together.
I love that. There are so many micro schools that are hosted in churches, community centers, um, all over the place. So I just love hearing where everyone's locations are at. So that's really fun. So I know you brought your handy dandy assistant today. Do you want to have her share anything about your program?
Oh, sure, absolutely. I was going to add, I know that Mrs. Middleton did an amazing job kind of highlighting our micro school as far as where we're located and what we're about. One of the great things that I absolutely love, as Mrs. Middleton mentioned, is that our micro school is Monday through Thursday. So we have our academic days Monday through Thursday. However, on Friday, although it's optional, what we decided to call that day is our enrichment day. And so what takes place on that day is what the kids want to do. And so if the children are interested in learning gardening, for example, we absolutely can create that into our curriculum for them. We're going to make sure that we're out in the community doing field trips, making sure that children are just being able to get outside and explore and just do some of the things that they're naturally interested in, but they may not be able to do in a traditional setting. And so that enrichment piece is really important. It gives children a sense of autonomy, especially as it relates to their education and just having the freedom to say, wow, I really want to learn coding. And so what does that look like? And we absolutely can create that here at the Academy. And so I'm very, very excited about our enrichment piece and just seeing what our children are going to create.
Excellent. I know. Well, I run a micro school down in South Florida and we go through a lot of duct tape. Do you guys use a lot of duct tape? Or what was that supply that you use that you're like, I didn't think we were going to use that much?
Fun fact, we are actually um, into year one. And so the first day of our academic year will be August the 11th, and it is going to be our first year. And so we're very excited. We absolutely have a budget for all of those things, but again, you never know. And so we're just excited to see.
I'm telling you right now, go invest in duct tape. So
I
yeah,
can,
they
yes.
do all kinds of fun stuff with that. But anyway, well, awesome. Well, are there any suggestions or things that you would give to a new family that is like thinking about joining a micro school or becoming a homeschooler and maybe using your program? What would be some suggestions that you would say for them for transitioning or moving into your type of program?
Um, I think I think definitely is like having an open mind. I think that if you are really thinking about you're feeling like school just does not fit my child, and you're struggling, it's at the point where kids are starting to lose the fire. And I think that if you see your kid losing that fire, then that really is the moment where you should make a change. And I think that there are so many options out there for families, that you shouldn't be afraid of doing that because it could be um, that could be the turning point for your child. Like I have three children of my own, and my son was one of those kids where I probably should have pulled him out of traditional school and did something different, but I was like, no, it will work. It will work. We'll figure it out. It will work. It will work. And then he really hated school. Afterwards. He did not have a great school experience. And now that I have, like his siblings who are much younger than he is, I'm starting to see that same thing. And this was at the point where I said, no, you know, we can absolutely do better. And I don't want that for my kids. And so, I'm so very thankful that our church has, entrusted us with doing this for the community. And this is an option to do it differently. So I absolutely say it's worth it. Um, if you can, and again, some parents wish that they could, but like I said in the beginning, sometimes we absolutely do have to work. And that's why there's programs like GRC Learning Academy, is to be able to participate with you and go in that journey to help you get that flexibility that your kids need, even though, yes, like life happens, right? The reality is that um, some of us would love to homeschool, but we can't. But that's why micro schools are here
Yeah, for
for
sure.
that purpose.
Definitely. There's a lot of families out there that they have that that homeschool mindset, but their situation isn't set up to be able to do it currently. So yeah, we all kind of work together to take care of the kids. I love that. Um, so I was thinking a little bit when you said, so when I started my micro school like back in 2018, and my son was enrolled at our local middle school, the public school, and he had gotten into like the math and the science academy, and it was one of those things that I knew that if I pulled him out, he would not be able to get back into those classes because it's only a certain number of seats. This is how it is. And I thought, oh no, I'm totally going to ruin my child. It's funny the thoughts that we have as parents, like the fear and the worry and wondering if the decisions that we make are going to be the right ones. But, fast forward, he just graduated from high school. Um, what was it? A year ago, a year and a little bit. And he did just great. He did great in the math and the science. And those years that we pulled him out to do our own thing with it, creating our own program, he did just fine. So I was just really grateful for that. So all the fear that comes over you, it's it's just nonsense talking. You just need to be like, stop. We're not listening to that right now. We're going to listen with our hearts. We're going to use our minds and our intellect and think about really great options, but focus them on like a small group of kids and help them individually. So there really are some great things that can come. And I know we have to have a lot of fear sometimes that if we're not doing what everybody else is doing, or if our seat is taken away because we've withdrawn them from such and such a program, that it's over. They're never going to be amazing anymore. And that's just not how life works. We have opportunities over and over and over to just be great. So, well, do you have any other wise advice for us? I know you've been around teaching for a good long time. Maybe if you had a couple last minute things you'd like to add.
Um, don't forget about, that education is meant to be fun. It is meant to be messy. And I think that sometimes we get so caught up, like you said, in what everyone else is doing, that we believe that it needs to look a certain way, and it really doesn't. It really doesn't. Allow your kids to lead the way in that. And I mean, your kids best. And when they're being extra lazy, and you can push them, and you also know when they really need a break. And sometimes, again, one of the reasons that we decided to go the micro school route and do this for ourselves, is because, like, when you see your kids stressing over tests, when you see your kids crying over homework, it really breaks your heart. And you think, do something different. Like, I can't let you do this. And yet again, that fear gets into us, and we think that it has to be a certain way, and it really doesn't. It really doesn't. And so I think my best advice is to absolutely listen to your kids, listen to your heart, and don't allow fear to get in the way of what you truly know that your kids, that they need.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Well, I know we've got Beth here. She's going to be on our Monday virtual open house, but since we have you with us, would you like to give like a elevator pitch for us? Tell us what it is that you're a sneak peek into what you're going to be sharing with us on Monday, and then maybe a tip for families into helping them on their journey.
I would love to. And also, before we leave, I wanted to also talk to J- Janina. Did I
Yes.
say
Yep.
that right?
Mhm.
About an opportunity that's available in her area that I used to run, and now I've handed it off to somebody else. But I know that you might be interested. So, Paradise Rivers Publishing is a nonprofit, and we have several programs that are perfect for homeschooling. I started the company with homeschooling in mind, and microschools are just perfect for that situation too, especially faith-based ones, because we believe that God has a purpose for each one of our students. The next generation can be amazing, but they do need moms and mentors to step in, and dads too. But so we're developing and have in place a couple of opportunities. One is that illustration contest. So I just published a book, an ebook that is about robotics. It's a fiction novel and it involves a cat as well. I wasn't planning on presenting today, so I don't know if I have my
Great.
visuals, but it's called DJ and the Robot, and it's about a cat and a team of animals who work with an AI robot to do repairs in Florida after a hurricane. And it's very STEMmy. There are 3D printers and drones and exoskeletons, and the cat develops from a loner, one that's sort of skittish and hides under the bed, to one that's a leader and leads a team to accomplish all these tasks, these rebuilds across Florida in several locations. And at the heart of that is her empathy for her girl. And she sees her girl sad that her community center has been destroyed by the hurricane. And so she wants to step in and help. And so after I won't go too much more on that, but I did want to say that at one point I realized this was a biography on me, an autobiography, even though it's fiction about a cat. So that's kind of fun. But the fun thing also is that we have an illustration contest. Like I said, this ebook is out on Amazon already, but the illustration contest is in place because we're going to feature mostly teens, but we also have a younger category of illustrators in the book. They are actually going to be published illustrators. And the contest is like zero cost. The ebook has a small cost, but even if people don't have $4 to download the ebook, we have a free option too. So students can participate completely free if that's what they need to do, and they can become published illustrators by December in my paperback. So I'm pretty excited about that. We also have several other opportunities. We are going to be holding a summit for mentors, moms and mentors, that helps them to guide students to their God-given purpose, and then through on into authorship, illustration, entrepreneurship, and leadership. We really feel strongly about those. Those are in our vision and mission statement. And we believe that the next generation can be so powerful in so many ways if they first find their God-given purpose, and that is through prayer and Bible study, but then find those mentors who are passionate about helping that next generation to the next step in life. Um, and so that's one opportunity. The other one is that we are a publishing company, and so we have some opportunities for teenagers, but also for mentors, because we're looking for the next bestseller of an author who wants to mentor that next generation in pretty much any way you can think of. We want them to be able to publish books that are there to inspire teens, to help homeschool moms, help families, Christian families, to um, reach that potential. Because there's so much, our teenagers have so much energy that, some of us older people don't quite have anymore. And so if we harness that energy and help them to step into their calling, then that is our goal. We also have an internship program. We now have 3 interns, technically three, but there's a 20-year-old on our board of directors as well. And so I'm mentoring her through the process of that nonprofit entrepreneurship, and also all the things wrapped up in that grant writing and the marketing. And she's helping me with Instagram, trust me.
Yeah, awesome.
Um,
I love it. Well,
yeah,
thank you so much, Beth and
sure.
Janina. Thank you so much for sharing your programs. It's been awesome. And I'm going to stop the recording here really quick. Thanks, everybody.